Oahu is beautiful, and there's way more positive than negative. But here are the top 10 worst things about living on Oahu. The number one most annoying thing about living on Oahu is leaving early and you still arrive late. Our traffic can be soul-crushing. There can be a freak accident, there can be rain, or the ultimate favorite, no reason at all. It just stops or slows down. I always recommend my clients do a Google map around between 3:30 and 5:30 from where they're thinking of buying to where they work and home again. I don't want to catch anyone with this surprise. The number two worst thing about living on Oahu is the little to no music scene. We don't get as many big concerts. There's not like a big concert every weekend. And when we do, the tickets can be extremely expensive. So if you're into music, just know you are going to travel to the 9th island to get your music fix. Oh, we have Cockroach Cove, but the number three worst thing about living on Oahu isn't Cockroach Cove. It is the cockroaches. So, my favorite cockroach is a dead cockroach. The creepiest ones are when they're still scurrying around. Ew. Number four worst things about living on Oahu is the parking. Parking stalls are very small, and as you can see, some vehicles are very large. Some people just don't even try to fit in the lines. The number five reasons that living on Oahu is not that great is the small dating pool. I am married, thank goodness, but I do follow the page, Are We Dating the Same Guy? Just because, I like a little drama in my life. But apparently, man, some of this dating, whew. Oh my, let's check out the gas prices here on Oahu. So as you can see, the national average is 3.449 as of today. That's your average gas prices throughout the nation. Here on Oahu, our average price for gas is 4.727. So ours has actually gone down a little bit. So you can kind of see what the average, I do use premium because I do have a new Jeep that I don't want any issues with. So you can see, premium right now is $5.20. A year ago, it was $5.19. The average gas prices might be one of the top 10 worst things here on Oahu. Oahu does have the reputation as the gathering place. And some areas, especially Waikiki, the North Shore, Ko'olina, can be bustling with tourists. So that is a reason that sometimes Oahu isn't the greatest place to live. I will say that there are some areas that are a little bit quieter, so you can find a tiny bit of seclusion. But overall, it is a big city, and it does have the big city crowds. And with those big city crowds come crowded neighborhoods. Difficult to find homes with lots of land space. As you can see, we average between 5 and 10,000 square feet per lot. Most are 5,000. So your neighbors are relatively close. But I will tell you, most of them are nice neighbors, but it is one of the bad things about living on Oahu. The number 8 worst thing about living on Oahu are food prices. Groceries can be very expensive. Your eggs, your milk, it can get crazy sometimes, especially if you're trying to feed a family. Another bad thing about moving to Oahu is our home prices. So you can see a single family home. Our median home price is $1,085,000. That is down 2.2% year over year. We are selling fewer houses because we have less inventory. And our average sales price for the month of May was $1.4 million, which year over year was 4.7% higher. The median is, of course, if you line up all the sales, it's the one in the middle. So we go by the median sales price here on Oahu. And condos, our median sales price of condos in the month of May was $495,000, which again is about a 2% less than year over year for our median price. We've closed 478 of those, which is 9% more than we closed May of 2023. And our average sales price of a condo in Oahu is $592,964, which is about 5% less than what they were selling for a year ago. Here's a little more information on the single family homes. You can then see the comparison between 24 and 23. We sold more in 23 than we did in May. And then we can look at April. We closed 262. May, we only closed 249. And a lot of that has to do with our inventory. We have a lot. Well, seems like we have less inventory, but it looks like we had less inventory a year ago and even less inventory in April. And then we're looking at year to date. So this year, seeing we have closed 1,104 single family homes and 1,879 condos. And our average days on market for a single family home is 21, and our average days on market for a condo is 30. So yes, one of the bad things about living on Oahu is our home prices. 10. Worst thing about living in Hawaii is you can make a lot of money, but it takes a lot of money. So just to make a living wage on Oahu, if you're 2 adults with one of you working and say you have 1 child, you need to make $44.86 an hour. If you are both working and you have 1 child, you need a job that's going to pay you $28.79 an hour. And then you can see it progressively gets more to make a living wage with the more children that you have. Let's look at expenses. What does it cost to live here for a year? 2 adults, 1 working. You're spending about $10,000 a year on food. 3 children, 1 of you working. That's $20,000, about $20,000 a year on food. You're both working, still the same amount of food, just more of you to pay for it. Your child care expenses, shouldn't have any if only one of you are working. If both of you are working, child care expenses can be $21,000 a year for 1 child, goes up from there. Medical, again, with no children, it's about $5,393 a year. I will tell you, I pay $1,300 a month for health insurance for the 2 of us. Housing is about $20,000 a year. This is for a small condo. If you need a house because you have children, you're looking at about $38,000 a year in house payments. Transportation, civic duty, what we're paying for the internet, and I think it's a little more right now than $18.90 a year. We're paying about $180 a month. You need, just what you're going to spend in everyday cash. So your required income, if you were 2 adults and 1 working with no children, would be $63,000 a year. If you have children, that would go up to needing to make $103,000 a year. That is a livable income. Then you have your taxes. And this is what would be required from taxes. So if you plan on moving to Oahu, you will need to make at least $75,000 a year to live comfortably. And then if you look at the annual salaries, management, so you can see some of these jobs are not hitting that mark of the minimum that you need to live here comfortably on Oahu. Now, even with these 10 worst things about living on Oahu, it is still a magical place, and I do recommend you check us out.